Hello everyone, it's Elizabeth with Happy Healthy Caregiver, and I want to know what's good in your life today. So welcome to our Instagram Live. I'd love for you to share what's going well for you in your caregiving life, in your work life, in your daily life. Definitely interested in hearing from you. And also feel free to share your questions as we're talking to our guest today. Our guest is going to be Kitty Norton, and I'm going to introduce her in a minute. But first, I have a couple of announcements to share with you. So I don't want you to forget about the Happy Healthy Caregiver podcast. I love doing these Instagram lives because it's another way to fast track content and information that can be helpful to you in your caregiving season. The podcast is different from other caregiving podcasts in that I believe that family caregivers are the experts in family caregiving. So all of our guests have been or currently are family caregivers. And our latest guest was Matthew Colley. So getting the male caregiver perspective and an example of him doing whatever it takes to help support his wife, Kinlea, and their son, Ty. So hope you listened to last week's episode. We've got a new episode coming to you every other Wednesday. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, including Spotify or YouTube, so that you can just get the shows in your queue when they come up. I also want to encourage you to sign up for this month's Happy Healthy Caregiver Virtual Cafe. So Kitty and I are going to talk more about that cafe in our live today, but it's coming up on May 24th, so that's a Wednesday as well, still at noon Eastern. And filmmaker that we're talking to today, Kitty Norton, but what we're going to do is we're going to have a sneak preview of the Wine, Women, and Dementia family caregiving documentary. So you can have your coffee and your popcorn and watch 30 minutes of the documentary. And then we're going to have a lively discussion with the filmmaker, Kitty Norton, the producer, Beth, and I think even one of the spotlighted caregivers might be making an appearance. So I'm excited about that. You can sign up to that May 24th event by going to the link in the Happy Healthy Caregiver bio, and you'll see the cinema graphic there. So that's going to be fun. I love doing these because I love introducing you to support in unique and different ways. So let me introduce you to Kitty Norton while I'm bringing her in. That is a moderator. You may have to request to join. Let me see if I can figure this out. Invite to join. Here we go. In 2016, Kitty Norton left her job as an NBC assistant editor in LA to go to her hometown of Portland, Oregon, to walk, stumble, and crawl with her dementia mother to death's door. While doing so, Kitty authored the Dementia Caregiver blog called Stumptown Dementia, writing tales of dementia life, not dementia death, which resonated deeply with readers around the world. Kitty, I think you're a little blurry. I'm not sure if you're in Wi-Fi or if it's me. Maybe while I'm finishing introducing you. Oh, there you are. You're back. Okay, so hold on, but wait, there's more. Kitty directed, filmed, and edited numerous short videos to commemorate dementia life with her mom, Gloria, for the blog. When Gloria passed in 2021, Kitty was compelled, and that's what we're going to talk about, to make Wine, Women, and Dementia her first feature film to honor this journey with her mom, spread awareness of the caregiver side of the equation in dementia, and let other dementia households know that they are not alone, they're worthy of being seen and celebrated as they slog, love that verb, slog alongside their dementia person to the end of life. So as we're chatting with Kitty today, if you have questions, feel free to type them in. I'm going to be moderating the chat as well while Kitty's answering some of the questions. But Kitty, hi, what's good in your life today?
Hello. Well, I woke up kind of completely overwhelmed. So, and then I'm looking at this shirt and I'm thinking, it was cuter on the gal online.
Well, you know, we can't even see your skirt, but maybe you've got other things that are happening.
Yeah, the shirt.
Oh, the shirt. You know what? I think it's adorable. I think it's adorable.
It was really cute on the lady online. I'm not sure I'm doing it justice, but
Listen.
No, there's a lot of things to be grateful for right now, and the film is just starting to chug along, and it's dragging me right along with it.
Yes, they said like you were compelled to make the film, but you weren't necessarily compelled to market the film. I'm sure that has its a whole new thing. But we've got there's nothing more fabulous than the family caregiving community.
Yeah.
And I know word of mouth is like the best way to get a caregiver resource into somebody else's hand. And I want to chat with you about this film, but first, let's back up a little bit, though, before we jump into the film. Talk about why it was important for you, Kitty, to talk about dementia life and not dementia death when it came to caring for your mom, Gloria, and writing about it.
Yeah, it was really important to me because when we first took over Mom after Dad died, you know, my sister doesn't really like to do research and figure things out ahead of time, but I like to have some information about what's coming. And everything was just like so tragic, and you're going to be miserable, and, you know, all on the dementia people, and they would always showcase the worst cases. And it was in books, it was in TV, it was in films. And I was going to this adventure with my mom and being like, yeah, there's some really tragic stuff in this. But you know what? There's also a lot of life. There's also a lot of hilarious stuff in dementia. I mean, when your dementia person no longer has any restrictions on their behavior, there's some really interesting things that can happen. And, you know, people, strangers, like the way they'll react to it. And like, it was always tough. It was always difficult, but we were also having fun. And I wanted to write that down because I didn't see that represented.
No.
And I thought maybe somebody will read this blog, maybe they won't, but I need to talk about our day to day. So
yes,
I
think you were on the front side of that. I feel like the TV shows and things are trying to do a little bit of a better job with that. Maybe it's still showing the heaviness of it for sure, but showing that people can live a life with the dementia. And I'm thinking like that This Is Us is one example.
Yeah.
And even I just finished Million Little Things, and there's a dementia storyline in that episode as well with his father. So I feel like they're starting to do that, but you were a pioneer for sure in that, and it obviously resonated because you built this strong community of people who wanted more of that. And I think it's so important that we share that side of it, because we have this issue maybe with family caregivers potentially not self-identifying, and that's not our fault. I feel like that's on healthcare's fault, in my opinion, because nobody has told them that's what they are. And until they know that's what they are, they're not going to connect to the support and resources that are going to help them. So if you're a healthcare person and you're a faith community, or you're in some kind of way where you're helping to talk to caregivers, please let them know that, because I know that's we do slog our way through this caregiving journey, and it's not all bad, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I don't know if you feel similar or not, Kitty. Like, would you do this again?
Oh, there's certain days I would have traded for the world. I'd have been like, here, does anybody want a mother? I'm putting her on Craigslist, free. All you have to do is pick her up. But no, I wouldn't have done. I would do it all over again. And I wouldn't have, I'd have let her go for a day or two, but I probably would have gone and got her back.
Yeah, that's real talk. I mean, that's real talk. And TLS Liberate says that we love accounts like yours that showcase both sides of the caregiving journey, because we need that real talk to show that, yes, this is hard, and there can be some really rewarding and funny things that come out of it. Do you ever wonder what you're going to say if something like this potentially were to happen to us? Like, I think about, like, what am I going to say to my kids? What am I going to share that I might
I've already told everybody, if I get dementia, I'm going full bore, man. Nobody is going to be as horrible as I am. I'm bringing it.
I think all of us that are in this caregiver support thing, it's like, they're in for it. So what strategies worked for you or didn't work for you when you were caring for your mom, Gloria? I know you shared something about a portable heater with me.
Oh, yeah, just like some regular tips. Yeah, that was something I got from a Teepa Snow video. Of course, showers, eventually hygiene gets to be a real problem. And I've actually heard from some dementia people who are still communicating when they hit that stage that it's just very terrifying, and the sensation is very terrifying because we just didn't understand, why mom wouldn't get in a shower anymore. But we figured out how to make her extremely, extremely warm before the shower. So putting a little portable heater in the bathroom was fantastic. For our mom, long rides were really good. Mom was very mobile, so she wanted to walk all the time. But one way we just, especially when she got a little difficult on her feet, one way we would get some time to ourselves is just put her in the van and drive her around, and you could listen to your own music. You could, do whatever you wanted, and she was content and sitting still, and you didn't have to be on her every 5 minutes. Yeah, a geriatric psych doctor, that was a huge, huge thing
What
that
kind
I
of
keep
doctor?
telling people. A
Geriatric?
geriatric psych doctor.
Okay.
They
Oh, psych.
specialize in, yeah, they specialize in medications to help people with cognitive issues when they age. And so, your primary care person may be super wonderful, but if they're not, ask for a reference. Because these people, Dr. Susan was amazing. I could go to her and say, look, mom's not sleeping, or mom is just, she hates everything, or mom, and mom would be with me, and we talked to Dr. Susan for a while, and she helped us find medications. She helped us find dosages and times. She was always there to help us kind of adjust things because we didn't want her to be a zombie, but we didn't want her to be so enraged anymore that her whole body just shook for 24 hours a day because she was just furious,
Yes.
Those are biggies.
Those are some gold, like those are gold. Like when you find those strategies that work, or those people that are part of your care team, like there's just like things just start to kind of get a little bit lighter. And I'm imagining the same thing happened for you, Kitty, when you connected with these folks. So how did you tell us about the Wine Women and Dementia family caregiving documentary, and how you found your movie stars?
Yeah, so after dad died, not after dad, after mom died, even before mom died, I was starting to really feel like this community that had come together through the blog, that I wanted to finally meet them in person. And 5 people in particular who had just become really crucial to me. I don't know if I was that crucial to them, but emails would come in on really bad days and make me laugh, or they'd always be there when I was venting. So I thought, I want to go meet them. I want to go meet them in person. I want to take a bottle of wine, and I just want to sit around and talk caregivers back. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, maybe other caregivers would be interested in hearing what caregivers do just when they're sitting together and throwing it all out there, just vomiting their caregiver stories. So I got to hire a film crew, and actually I hired a really great sound guy, a director of photography, and then I made my boyfriend come along as second camera.
Listen, if you're not my partner, you're not my partner. If you're not coming with me, go. Get out of here. Yeah.
And when we got home and I looked at the footage and I looked at, these 5 people and the conversations that we had and the topics that we talked about, and I'm like, this is a film. I think this is a documentary. I think this is something that we can put together, and had a great post-production team. Yeah, our editor went through, I think we had 65 hours of footage just between the caregiver talks and interviews, and then we had a lot of B-roll, and he helped put together. I had my vision. I knew what topics we needed, but he really helped put it together, and it's doing great so far. We won the Audience Award, Audience Choice Award at the Julian Dubuque Film Festival.
I love it.
Last year. Yeah, that was fantastic. That was our world premiere, and yeah, so caregivers are really enjoying it. The Q&As are a blast. They just want to talk.
I got to see it at the Care Colloquium in Roanoke last November. You came and we did a sneak preview, which is the same thing we're going to see. It is magic, Roseanne. Roseanne Daughter hit the podcast. The care it's where the care folks got together, the care people in the care economy who work with family caregivers and trying to be thought leaders in this industry. And we got to see Kitty's work of art. And yes, so if you want to see it, register through the link in the bio for May 24th, because we're showing the same 30-minute sneak preview on that, and then you'll get to talk with Kitty and Beth, and I believe maybe even Roseanne might be, if we can talk her into coming to that
awesome.
May 24th. So
I think we could ask just about any of the protagonists. They'd love to be a part of this. So
that's what I call movie stars. You call them protagonists.
Yes. What am I doing?
No, and the thing is like, people need to understand, Kitty, like, you didn't just hop on an airplane in Portland, Oregon and go fly to these places. Like, there was something in the journey of this. So what was the journey to go meet these people, and how many different cities did you go to?
We went to, we met 5 different people. I can't remember how many cities. It was 7,500 miles around the country. In an
RV, right?
In an RV, yeah.
Does it have a name?
It did, the Gloria. I named it after my mother because it was old and smelly and a little cantankerous. That's just like Mom.
Yeah.
And I put her name all over it. I put logos on it, and I just wanted the freedom, you know. And after 5 years of just intense caregiving, I was like, I'm gonna buy a beat-up old rundown RV and travel around the country and see these people. And yeah, so it was a big damn deal.
I love it. I love it. And then you did the same thing. You drove across the country to meet us in Roanoke, and I thought, this girl's crazy. Like, I need to meet her. I want more crazy people in my life, because that's where the fun is. So who is this film for? Like, I know it's certainly very therapeutic and cathartic for you and for your protagonist / movie stars, but who is it for? Like, what are you hoping people are going to get out of it? Who needs to come and see this?
This film is and always has been for family caregivers. We focus specifically on dementia, but I think family caregivers all over with any kind of even childcare or another terminal disease or something chronic are going to look at this and see themselves in it.
I can attest to that. Dementia has not been a specific part of my caregiving journey, and I can tell you, it will tug at your strings. It will make you laugh. Yes, keep going.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot where I was.
Who's it for? What are you hoping they get from it?
I want this film, I want these caregivers to see that their stories matter, that they matter, that all the information about these chronic illnesses or terminal illnesses mostly focus on the people with them and disease statistics and all that stuff. That's great. We need that. But nobody asks the caregiver what they're going through. Nobody talks to us and says, what's this like? And that's what this film is. And the stories are sometimes utterly hilarious, sometimes really sad. We get into the financials of this issue. I just want people to see that their stories matter, that their stories are entertaining, that other people want to know these things, and that they are celebrated. It's time to live out loud, and it's time to celebrate yourself. Even on your bad days, you showed up.
Yes.
You know, whether you are a memory caregiver, a long-distance caregiver, an advocate caregiver, a 24/7, you're there. And what you are doing and experiencing is important, and it matters to the rest of the world.
Girl, you're tugging at my heartstrings, but that's okay. I'm a leaker. I just leak a little bit. So Care Warrior says caregiver stories matter. And so I totally hear and resonate what you're saying, Kitty. And that, that I'm not a filmmaker, but that's part of the reason why I did the Happy Healthy Caregiver podcast, is to give people that spotlight, that caregiver spotlight of sharing their expertise in caregiving and self-care, because there are a lot of experts, but we are the experts in caregiving.
We are. And I think it takes us all of us, a little bit of time to realize that. By the way, Care Warriors, she's one of our movie stars.
Oh, she is. Which movie star is she?
She's Veronica. She's
Veronica.
an
Well, I'd love for you
overachiever
to
who,
join us on May 24th at the Virtual Cafe to talk about your experience as a protagonist in this and being on the screen and putting your story out there. So, and I love that, I think in addition for this film being for family caregivers, I think those that work in the industry, the care economy, the care
yeah.
industry, whether they're at a memory care community, they're working for the Alls Association chapters, or their faith community, like if everybody that's in the world is somehow interacting with somebody likely with dementia or knows a friend who's caring for somebody, like you want to have an inside view of what that world is potentially looking like for them. Watch this. And to get into the mind of a family caregiver. I think even students studying dementia and caregiving and healthcare and nurses, like I think there's a lot of value in what you've created. So I'm so proud of you.
I do too. And I just want to say really quickly, I don't understand how people think they know what the dementia journey is if they don't see the other half of the equation. I don't know how they know what any long-term chronic illness is if they don't see the other half of the equation. And the other half is the caregivers.
Yeah.
So it's time for us to stand up and be counted. Yeah, we are not invisible. Look at this shirt. Clearly I'm not invisible.
Maybe that's why I'm dressing trying Newly, which is a clothing rental company, which Kitty, with as many events as you have, maybe I need to share my little code with you because I'm having so much fun with it. This dress is from Newly. Like I just love the bright colors and the adventures that I'm having in my clothes. So people are loving that you're saying caregiver story. We have so many beautiful families as clients and they're all so lovely. That's what TLS Liberate says. And Daughterhood is saying 1000%. So,
another movie star. There's our Roseanne.
Roseanne, I know, love Roseanne, and she's a fellow Whole Care Network podcaster with Daughterhood, the podcast. So, we all have stories that matter, and I can only do a podcast every other week, and Roseanne, I think, does one monthly. So you have choices, and we're trying to put those out there in ways that you can find it. So let's switch gears and talk about self-care for you, Kitty. Did you experience caregiver burnout? We want to know.
Yes. And I actually, because I wrote a blog about this, I really thought about this issue after a particularly bad period of time for me. Not just one day went wrong, but I was in like a month-long, Jesus, I don't know if I call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know self-care is really important. I know as caregivers we're beaten over the head with that phrase daily.
Yeah.
But it is important and we do need to take care of it. But what I found with me is I'd have an utter meltdown, and that's when I would make changes. That's when I would finally say, all right, everything that everybody's been saying to you, you just went through this. It wasn't great for you. It wasn't great for mom. And now you need to stop and you actually have to do this. So I think it's really hard to do and to listen to sometimes. But I tell you, when you do hit it, don't feel bad. That's because you, like me, weren't paying enough attention. And now you're going to have to fix stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's that boiling a frog analogy, right? Like you're in the water, you don't know that you're boiling. You're in it every day. And I know you had shared with me, that you thought you were bad at self-care, but I got to say, I slightly disagree because I think people think that when we talk about self-care, it's all about eating well and exercise. But you were working hard on a couple things. So I'm going to validate some stuff that you were doing. You were working on your emotional self-care with your writing. So amen to that. That's so good. You were working on your intellectual self-care because I know you were digesting what Teepa Snow was putting out there. And she's like a dementia guru that tells it like it is. I love that she's
a rock star.
Yes. And you were working on your social self-care with connecting with others on social media. So maybe it wasn't like you needed more, but I think that you were doing some things. And so I want to validate and kind of reframe what that is for people. Because I know for me, even as a caregiver initially, I thought it was just on, well, I'm not exercising and I'm eating fast food and I'm not taking care of myself. And those things did catch up with me, but I was trying to do some things. And I think that I'm trying to put it out there that there's lots of categories of self-care and that you definitely hit three of them. So,
You are right. You are right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. But
And I
I don't
never
want to
thought of
shit
it like
on
that before.
people. Like, we're not going to shit on you. Like, we want you to show up as your best self. And I want you, honestly, to be happy and healthy people. And I believe that you can be a wonderful caregiver and a happy and healthy person. So let us help you. Like, let the people in this community help you. I know that as a dementia family caregiver, Kitty, it was not easy, I'm sure, to pull yourself away from your mom, Gloria. So what did you do to kind of stay connected with some of your people?
Oh gosh, like you said, it was the blog. It was the community that we created. I also was pretty frequent on the Als Connected forum, social media, and especially we're 2016, so we're like 7 years away from this now. Like, all of those resources were really great, and I've seen social media absolutely explode. So things like this, I was not finding in 2016.
No, same. Back
Yeah,
in 2014, 2015, I didn't know
not
what I was
at
looking
all.
for. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
I'm so
so
grateful.
these social media communities are amazing. If you guys aren't, clearly you're already following Elizabeth, but if aren't hitting some of these other people, if you aren't on TikTok yet, the reels on Instagram are great too, but it's just like people are so much more open now. And even dementia people, they're like, hey, I'm not dead yet. I may
No.
be rascal, but I'm doing this,
Yeah,
and
living
they're
the
out there telling
connection.
their stories. So it's amazing.
Yeah, we've got to change the narrative. So Jen, WID9289 says you need an outlet or something that you enjoy for yourself, and wine counts. So how important was wine to the wine women and dementia part of it, Kitty?
It was very important. So my sister Lexi and I, who I refer to as the other girl in the blog, we had a really bad falling out before Dad died. I think before even Mom got her diagnosis. And it took us years to start talking again. And it was right after Dad died that we had just kind of started coming together. So all of a sudden we're thrown into the same house with my mom. We're really, really hands off with each other, very skitty. It was super tender. The feelings were very raw. But what we could do was drink wine at night and just kind of process what Mom was going through, process what we were going through, maybe talk a little bit about our fight if we thought we could get close to it. So, and as the 5 years went on, before Mom died, we were just talking about everything with wine, So that's one reason why wine was so important to me to take to people's homes. And I was also finding out through the blog that a lot of caregivers had a beverage of choice after their dementia
Yes.
person went to sleep. So
Yes. Yes. There,
and a lot of it was wine.
Yeah, whatever your beverage of choice is, whether it's alcohol or non-alcoholic, but I'm sure the alcohol gets the stories kind of coming out a little bit. So I love that. I think you're hilarious, Kitty. I would love to see you as a future caregiver comedian. Maybe we need some more of that.
Dementia stand-up.
Yes, yes. Getting together maybe with Seth Rogen and stuff that he's doing. So, but something very timely that I want to talk about is Mother's Day is this weekend, and that's a mixed bag for folks. Like, I don't have my mom anymore. We're missing Gloria. Like, things are happening, but I am a mom, so I'm also spending time with my daughter. But for those that are celebrating or commemorating their mom, like, what do you do on Mother's Day to kind of just reflect on her and celebrate her and feel the feels?
Yeah. Well, my dad's birthday is at the end of March, so I always go to the graveyard and I take daffodils to him from the yard.
Aww.
Yeah. from his yard. You know, I still live here. It's still their flowers that they planted. I do the same for Mom on Mother's Day, except now we have the tulips, so I will take her tulips.
Oh, it's my
And
favorite.
I just sit and talk to them. You know, I feel like both of them got to go on to a next adventure that was a lot more fun than the last decade of their lives. So while I miss them, I feel like they're having a grand old time.
Yeah.
So I can't be too sad for them, but I can go and chat with them.
Yeah.
And
there's
just
comfort and hope for me too, in knowing that they're together. And that, you know, at some point it's like, I feel like the needle is turning. There's like more people paving the way on the other side than, you know, as I get older. It's interesting. So, well, I want to again promote.
Just one little thing,
Yeah.
sorry, really quickly. Just because I'm the older sister, I still tell them all the things Lexi's doing wrong.
Well, you got it. You know what? I'm one of 6 kids. Like we got, you know, we got all kinds in our family too. So I got to ask you a question, Kitty, from the self-care journal. We already kind of talked about the one I had bookmarked. So let's see. All right, since we talked about wine, let's talk about this. What are some of your healthy go-to snacks?
Ooh, healthy. I love nuts for one. Just
Raw
regular
nuts.
nuts. Yeah. That's delicious. I like celery. I like salads. I'm kind of having a little issue with Trader Joe's and their salads lately because it seems like I don't have time to make anything. But it's like, okay, I just spent $20 on salads.
Yeah.
Then I could like at home for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, they're not close to me, so I would have to stock up. I wish there was one around the corner. But yeah, there's something about the bag salads that are just, I think I have a dill pickle one in the fridge right now that I'm going to crack into for lunch. Well, listen, y'all, we're going to keep this party going. So all of you all that have watched the live today that are hopefully watching this replay, you're going to want to come on May 24th to the Happy Healthy Caregiver Virtual Cafe. It's free. It's at noon Eastern on May 24th. We're going to watch 30 minutes of Kitty's documentary called Wine, Women, and Dementia. And the producer's also going to be there. We've got some of the movie stars that may be coming on. And so we would love your help in promoting this because Kitty's worked hard on this documentary. And so we want to see it celebrated on many different platforms and many different festivals. How can other people help you, Kitty? Like, what else do we need? Follow you on Wine, Women, and Dementia. What else can folks do that are watching this?
Yeah, definitely subscribe to the website. I put out newsletters every time I get information on, like we are showing the full feature at Vero Beach, June 7th through the 11th. We don't yet have the screening dates, but every time I get movie news, where you can see it, what's coming up, anything like that. So please subscribe to Wine, Women, and Dementia. I'm a little less good on my socials, but we've got Instagram, we've got, TikTok, Twitter. Yeah, just follow and contact me. I love to hear from people, whether you dig the excerpt or what, It's just really great to hear from people.
Yes, it is nice to kind of get some of those messages after people, and I'm excited for you to kind of hear what people think after watching the sneak peek on the 24th. So if you would love to come and you want to tell somebody about it, register. It's a Happy Healthy Caregiver, the link in my bio. Register for May 24th. We're hoping to see you there. Kitty, it's going to go fast the next couple of weeks. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, and thank you so much for everything that you're doing and spending time with me.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Keep being awesome. Thank you all for joining.
Bye-bye.